Good morning, everyone, from Ozark Living Homestead. I'm standing on the old tree stump here behind the cabin here, and I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but this is the new floor that we put in, and you might be able to see it up there too. It's actually the frost dripping off the part of the roof that we already have filled on, but there's a thin sheet of, well, it's not ice, it's frost, but across this whole floor. That's how cold it actually got here. I think it's like 32, 33 degrees now. They said it feels like 24. It's what the Weather Channel says, but half the time they're not right. But it's pretty cold. But it got pretty cold last night. Not too bad, but you can see here, this gives you a better example, because all this was in the shade up here. There's actually ice on this tarp, pieces of ice from the dew or whatever, because actually the fog sets in at night, because it heats up to around 50 degrees. But yeah, there's ice all over the top of that tarp. And that's the lumber, like I said, that I have to finish the cabin up here. But yeah, it's so it got pretty cold last night. But everything is fine. All the animals are fine. I haven't had any problems so far. And that's one of the things I've been working on pretty hard, trying to make sure they're all pretty secure, because I know the coldest couple of months are coming, which is January and February. So I've got to make sure, of course I've got to take care of myself, but I've got to make sure they're taken care of. And I showed you guys the pen that we started, the new goat pen. Yeah, and it was during the time it was raining, and I really couldn't do anything on the cabin. And right now I'm still waiting on that cabin. I think after today it'll be all finished. Drying out enough where I can get on it, and I may be on it some today anyway, but I'm gonna finish this goat pen today so I can get those guys moved over here. So I'm done with that, and they'll be fine. One other thing, we've been burning the trash. The neighbor come down again yesterday. I actually bought his tractor. He has a bigger Ford tractor than I do, and he has a bucket on the front. I don't have a bucket. And he's been clearing out a lot of this back here. I think he more or less gets bored, and he likes to play. So he was back here pretty much all day yesterday while me and my son were working on, doing some of this stuff too. And we were working on the goat pen and stuff, and you can see the frost on the ground back here because it's still real shaded. And but yeah, this old stump that I've tried to burn 2 or 3, every time it burns a little more and a little more and a little more. But it's about burnt out now. It's smoldering. My son, and my son and the neighbor, they got another big old tree root out of that trash pile over there beside the cabin we're building. And they pulled some other stuff out of there and they threw it over here, and it's been burning it. And the neighbor got that old tree out of there, moved it, cut it up into pieces, and got it over here, throw it on the pile and burn up. And from what I was telling you guys before, if you'll notice, right back there is an old refrigerator. And like I said, there's tons of junk, not tons of junk, but there's a lot of junk in here. But the neighbor pulled a lot of the old wood out of there, a lot of the stuff out of there, and threw it on the pile. And we've got it burned up pretty much. And they actually tore down a lot more of this fence here, so I can actually finish the pen on that corner. I can be able to get in and out of here from this corner. And he started tearing down these these old locust trees. And a lot of you know what these old locust trees are. Let's see if I can find one. One of these thorns. And if you guys ever had to deal with these, you know what I'm talking about. But there's one of those thorns. And And when these trees die, those thorns don't go away. In fact, I think they get harder. And they will actually flatten your tires, and they'll go right through your shoes. So you have to be careful, and that's why we're actually cutting them down here. We're going to use a lot of them for posts because apparently they're very good for posts. But we're burning everything right here so we don't drag it through the property and over these thorns all through the property that we could possibly have flat tires or get injured ourselves. But yeah, you guys can see there's still a lot of trash in there, and he's going to come back, you know, when he has time, and just play around some more and clear out some more. And we talked about it yesterday, but we are going to go ahead and fence this whole area all up through the hillside there, a big area up through there past the old pond, so that way it's like another run for the goats. And there's the cow pasture I was telling you about. Well, this is not the cow pasture I was talking about before, but this is a totally different cow pasture. Now this guy, he keeps his fences up. He's got nice fencing, and he's right up the road, and he has a lot of property. He has 800 some acres in one place, and I don't know how many acres in a couple other places, but he's got a lot of cows. And he just recently bought this piece, but he's one that really keeps up with his property and keeps his fence up. He's a really nice guy. He's the one that got the big round bale of hay from, and he's going to sell me some good hay, round bales of hay for the goats and stuff. But anyway, guys, I'm going to cut this off, and we may add some little more video to this. So I'm going to cut this off for right now, and I'll be back soon. Now watch that blade. Make sure you don't hit that post. You might have to back up a little bit the way that the wheels are turned, and then turn them out and go out. But watch that blade. Up and back. Real sharp. Straight up and back. Straight up. Put it in neutral, just straight up. In the middle and back. I knew you were gonna do it.